Alrighty, let's do this. Streaming again. So, yeah, just gonna pick up where we left off last time, and just finish this guy off because I'm sick of seeing it, and I've spent so many streams on this already. I think it's time to quickly finish this guy off. So yeah, like, I mean, you know, whilst between these streams I've been obviously learning more about Blender, so you could tell as you watch the streams that I'm getting more and more proficient, and I think by now I feel very comfortable with modeling in Blender, and yeah, so I guess it's time to really finish this guy off. You know, if you guys see the poll in the chat, make sure you give it a vote, and just see I'm curious to see what everybody thinks in the end of the stream. You know, who's gonna win out. I mean, I obviously having used Maya for 10 years, it's hard for me to, you know, just pick a side, but you know, I use Houdini and stuff as well, so I have no affiliation to any one program. But anyways, enough chit chat, let's get to finishing this guy off. So yep, let's rotate this and place it sort of on the head like this, and yeah, really just kind of flesh out the top of this thing. You know, again, I'm not using any add-ons, so if you guys are add-on people and you have any cool add-ons that you know of, please also drop it in the chat, because I would love to see what you guys use in your workflow. So I'm going to shove this somewhere here like this, maybe even a little bit more on the side, I think will look cooler. So something like this, and yeah, I'm not spending too much time trying to get the connection point perfect, because yeah, what's the point? What is the point? So rotating these all together is going to be a little bit tricky, so maybe I'll just parent them all to this guy. I love using this new option, by the way, which is keep transforms without inverse. That's a very Maya style parenting system, and I was missing that in the previous version of Blender, which didn't have that, so good to have that here. And yeah, I think I like this, so let's do a quick mirror and place that over on the other side. So let's get this mirror going, and in this mirror use our mirror plane, and then I'll just copy the that modifier over onto the other side. So copy modifiers, ta-da. And then we probably need something like this, so that those these, whatever you want to call these things, have something to connect to. And I do like that it's got a slightly different design than these kind of rods here, so I might do something similar, maybe not copy exactly this design, or maybe, you know, maybe I will if I'm just not feeling super creative. Let's see if there's any other interesting kind of connection. Oh, this is kind of cool. It's got this like sort of ornamental sort of design. Maybe I'll do something like this and just have these kind of connect into that. So where should I put that? That's the next question. So I might have one here, so one of them can come out and go into there. Also start using the 3D cursor a lot more, which is pretty cool. So you know, this is mirrored, so I don't actually have like something to snap the cursor to there, but that's fine. I'll just create this here and scale this guy up. Maybe not a cube, maybe we'll go with a cylinder. Scale this guy up, a bit too big, and let's just mirror this across the x-axis. And instead of mirroring it across the local, let's mirror this across the origin there. So Control M and x-axis, and yep, let's rotate this guy so that it's aligned to this surface there. Also, something else that I've been using a lot is I've just been stealing the I guess the angle of the face, so the normal of the face, and using that to align objects to. So before I mirror this, actually I might do that and just kind of snap it to the orientation of this face here. So grab this face and store the orientation, and then we can come back out and just align that to there. And then we do the mirror across the x-axis. Of course, we want to pivot from the cursor. So, oops, it's not working. Get rid of this. There we go. Yeah, so we can move this somewhere out here like this now. And I do like how this design looks, so I'll probably do something similar to that. Yeah, maybe just using a few different pieces. So the cool thing about, yeah, I guess the cool thing about Blender is, like, after using it for a bit, there's different modeling techniques that you can use. So I guess your old school modeling technique would be to add these kind of contained edges or held edges, whatever you want to call them, and kind of, you know, insert areas like this. I think I might actually, you know, just change my modeling style entirely now, where I just let the bevel modifier do all that sort of stuff for me, because it just actually does a pretty decent job, you know, with the topology. So it's actually quite surprising how well it handles like n-gons and things like that. So yeah, it's actually been a game changer for me. When I'm modeling, I don't have to worry about like adding those contained edges, and it saves me a lot of time actually. So yeah, let's scale this guy in. So I'm gonna put this somewhere there like this. Maybe make this like a little bit smaller, so it's just like wide enough to cover this this mesh there. And yeah, I do like those kind of rings that go around there as well, so I might actually do something like that. So do something a little bit more involved. Oops. And then we can add those rings. So I guess in the past I would have just like modeled this as one piece, but nowadays I like to just use separate pieces, and if I really want, I can just boolean them together, and that's because I can adjust this later on much easier than if they were all connected and I did extrusions out from like the face. It's not as easy to adjust this sort of ring later. You know, you have to kind of select all the faces and then, you know, scale it from there, and you know, you have to worry about like you know, this angle changing, and or you just have to scale from like you know, like lock one of the axes when you scale. So to me, it's much easier just to do this and then just like boolean them together, and then just let the bevel modifier handle the rest of this this stuff. So actually, I think it's changed how I work a little bit, just having access to the bevel modifier. Pretty awesome. So yeah, I think it's good in that sense. Like, that's the advantage of Blender, is these modifiers do actually do some pretty cool things. So yeah, let's put a ring at the bottom here as well, something like that. And yeah, let's finish it off with, oops. You know, I'm making this a little bit thicker because I know once I bevel it, I'm gonna lose a little bit of volume. So, and finally, we'll just get this and just put this somewhere here like this. Yeah, something like that. And I know there's like arrays and stuff like that. That's something I need to look into, like these kind of this array modifier. And I know there's like, I guess there's a plugin, you know, that you can use to do arrays, like hard ops or something. But yeah, I don't really use hard ops. All right, so yeah, let's keep going. if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop it into the chat, and I'm definitely looking out for the chat. So if anyone puts anything in there, I'll make sure to check it out. These little holes I can just texture, so there's no point just spending all that time doing all that detail. It's these little guys here that I kind of want to build out, but I don't really want to just model it in a dumb way. I know you can do like sort of arrays, but I don't have any kind of plugin that can do that right now, any sort of add-on. So I might just have to do this manually, which is fine. So yeah, let's just duplicate this. Move this up. Yeah, and again guys, like I've only just learnt Blender, you know, recently, so I haven't even, there's just so many things I haven't even like looked into yet. Yeah, so if there's anything that you guys think I should be looking into, definitely throw it into the chat. Get my toolbox, not sure where my toolbox went. And let's put this on the opposite side. And I guess we can just duplicate this again, and I'll do something like this. And also lost my little gizmo, so see if I can get that back. This here. Yeah, there we go. So I can see all my axis, so that's very helpful actually. And I might even just use this sometimes, this little gizmo. It's just a lingering thing from back in the days. Let's duplicate this guy. I'm not going to use any maths to try to get this perfect. There's no point really. No one's going to care if it's not perfectly mathematical. Unless you have OCD, you might care, but yeah, I don't really mind for this particular thing, keeping it pretty rough. And yeah, I might even have to reduplicate some of this stuff once I UV it. I think I'm just going to do the UVing in Maya because the native Blender UV stuff just doesn't look very good, and yeah, I just don't have time to learn like the whole UV system in Blender. Cool, and then let's yeah, maybe we'll bevel this all together. I'll leave this middle piece sort of separate, and maybe this piece and these pieces I'll combine, I think. Well, this piece and this piece at least, I should join them together. And then I can add my bevel modifier. And let's just change the amount. And sometimes if you get this where it's not actually like beveling it the way you want, it's probably because of the scale. So if I just reset the scale, should fix that up. And I might go with 2 segments. Yeah, I think that's okay. And I might even smooth this in the end, just like subdivide it, because you can see it's still very low poly, so the edges still look faceted. So in the end I might even just like subdivide it like this with the modifier, just so yeah, you can kind of smooth those edges out a bit. And one last thing is, yeah, I think the bevel it's being clamped because if I just deactivate that subdivision modifier, because this back face here, so this is causing me some issues. So I'll just try to grab this face and grow selection. That's not the key. Yeah, there we go. Grow selection and just delete those faces. And let's just fill these faces in. Yeah, and then now the bevel modifier should actually go much further in, so that's actually kind of better. It's more like what I want. And I'll just do a subdiv modifier and we're good. So yeah, I'll just keep continuing adding some bevels to these, and then making sure I just reset all the scales. So fix up the scales there. And this one doesn't really need any kind of mod, like maybe the only thing is like a subdiv modifier, but I'll just kill the faces there so we don't smooth those out. Yeah, so there we go. And same for this one. And here I'll just copy over the modifier. 2 segments. And yeah, maybe we play around with the angle a little bit more. And then one thing I also do is throw a weighted normal there. So just copy this back over there. And yeah, I think with the weighted normal, I might actually not need to subdivide this, but you know, if I do subdivide it, you can see it does look a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know, again, I'm not trying to keep like a super good, keep this super low in terms of topology. It's not that important to me. All right, so bevel and 2 segments. Let's just copy this over. Copy the modifiers over. And I can see that's getting this like weird, this weird effect where the inside looks like it's kind of pulling inwards. A little bit hard to tell, but I think with the matte cap, should be able to see this a little bit easier. Maybe if I get like a shinier matte cap. Let's see. Let's get one that's kind of like this. Yeah, you can kind of see all these striations. I think if I just grab this face and then inset it, it should just fix that up. So, well, maybe not, but at least it's I think it's done something. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Cool. Let's keep going. So, you know, that's kind of done. I'm happy with that. So we need this, but maybe in a different location so that I can connect this guy up. Maybe I'll go around and into here at the back there somewhere. Or maybe I'll do some sort of splitter, so like it gets split in the middle. That might be kind of cool. So this can go into there, I think, and this one can maybe I can go into here somewhere. So have some sort of a connector here that allows this kind of pipe to pipe into there. So that might be kind of interesting, but it could be a little bit of a challenge to add that into here somehow. Maybe you can just connect up into the cable. That might be kind of interesting as well. Yeah, I might do something like that where I connect it up into the cable itself. Cool, but yeah, let's duplicate out these cables so we can use them. And I'll kill the mirror modifier, and let's just make this a little bit thinner. Oops, that's way too thick. Maybe even thinner than this. Cool, and this one can go to here, so I might actually just snap our 3D cursor to there, and let's snap this guy to the 3D cursor. Cool. And I'll do the same thing here. So it looks like the pivot point's over there, which isn't really what I want, but what I can do is just duplicate this piece out. Let's apply. Let's just kill all those modifiers, so we just have this piece, and we can just mirror this across the X. Reset the cursor, and let's just pivot based on the cursor. Reset the cursor, pivot based on the cursor, and just mirror this across the X-axis. Quickly try this again. Mirror this across the X. There we go. So I can just use this as the thing I want to snap to, and then just kill this later. Just move this slightly off so that I can easily select it afterwards. Cool, and snap the cursor there. It's a pretty long-winded way to get that position, but I just want to be a little bit more precise with this. Wonder where my tangents have gone for this, which is kind of interesting. Looks like my tangents have just sort of disappeared on this guy. Oh well, I'll just kill that, it's fine, and just snap this there. That's interesting. Once I snap it, I lose all my tangents. So that's what's happening. So I think it's because I have all my tangents selected. So if I just do this, there we go. Cool. Alright, there we go. Is this too wide now? That's my next question. Like, do I think that this is too wide? I mean, I'm not super happy with the shape, and it's just because this connector faces this direction. So maybe there's a nicer way to do this. I know there's plugins there's add-ons. I keep saying plugins when really the proper term for Blender is an add-on, but I know there's add-ons that allow you to just make these cables. Like there's like Cable Raider and there's other stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stick to native Blender as much as I can, but I'll definitely be using hard ops and box cutter, I think, because after doing some hard surface modeling, I realize it's not super. I mean, it's just way easier to do hard surface with hard ops. Like some of the hard ops things is just crazy, like all the Boolean stuff and the beveling and whatnot. It's just really cool in hard ops. Cool. And this one I mentioned I wanted to go into here, but maybe actually I'll go into here on the side here. So it could be interesting to add like some sort of like connector on the side that it just goes into. And you know, I might need to add more divisions in order to do that, or I could just do something sneaky and just kind of shove it in. And I think I might just do something sneaky and just shove it in. So if I just take this piece and rotate it, let's see, 90 degrees this way, move this out. Yeah, just do something sneaky like this and just shove this guy in, and then maybe I'll bend this a little so it's kind of flowing to the curvature a little bit better. So I'll just grab this, both these, delete the faces, and I'll use a grid fill and probably change the angle a little bit just so it's yeah, it's kind of aligned to the cylinder underneath. So something like this. Whoops. Let's try that again. Grid fill. And maybe this simple blending. No, I think this is okay. Well, actually, maybe the simple blending because I want to add the bevels outside, so I think that'll work a little bit better. And the underside, I probably don't even care because we're just going to shove it into the mesh anyway. So, and the last thing is, yeah, we'll just sculpt this a bit just to get it into shape. I'll just use the grab brush, just doing this like super rough. I know there's probably better ways to do this, but yeah, it just doesn't really bother me. So actually, let's freeze our scale. And it looks like it went a little bit weird. So I wonder if my normals are messed up. So yeah, it looks like all my normals are flipped. So what I want to do is just flip all my normals, and then I can just sculpt this down. Yeah, something like that. It's fine. Looks like there's more votes for Maya so far, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, this is good enough. I mean, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, I want a little bit of this kind of dirt, this little bit of asymmetry to the mesh. And let's snap our 3D cursor to there again, and duplicate this guy again, and rotate this 90 degrees. Scale this in, and we'll just shove it into there. I can even use this connector here, so you can see some of this stuff is like flipped. So let's just quickly come in and fix that. And I might actually just steal a lot of what I've got going on over there. So maybe this piece and these pieces, I can just steal these. And if I just parent these all together, and then just snap that to there. So cool. And snap that to there, and we can align it again just by grabbing this face. And let's store this face, and we can just snap this using the align transform orientation. Awesome. And yeah, maybe we can make this one a little bit smaller. Cool, and yeah, just duplicate this guy again. And oh, and one thing is, yeah, let's delete this guy, the one that we made earlier, because we don't really need that anymore. And here we can do this. Let's grab here, get our 3D cursor over to there and snap this to there. Same thing, snap our 3D cursor to there, and snap this to there, like that. And it might be a bit of a pain just to get all these into place, so if I just dissolve them, I could probably just subdivide this and it'll just put a point in between for me, so I can just use these ends to get it looking right first, and then just add more points as I need. So yep, something like this, and then I can subdivide, and I have this extra point here to get the shape the way I want. Cool. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's super symmetrical, which is cool, and it looks like there's a lot of complex things going on, even though really there's not that many complex things going on with this. I think it's time to finally add the details onto all this. So if I come back to this reference and go back to, let's say, this area there, I was basing it off something that I saw. Maybe it was something like this. Some sort of tube back there. Maybe I'll make this transparent in the end so that it could house some sort of liquid, which is what's feeding into all this sort of stuff there. And we need to figure out how to connect this in with the rest of the geometry, which at the moment it doesn't. So that's one thing we need to kind of solve for. I guess it's the last thing that we kind of have to solve for with this. So if I just look at all these separate pieces together, they're all at the moment just like very different angles. I think this piece would feel most natural if it was part of this piece here. And yeah, just kind of get these aligned, and then maybe just kind of come around, cut into there, and then from here just cut across, just so it feels like there's something here to connect it to this piece as well. So yeah, I mean, the first thing I'd probably do is just apply this mirror and just grab this separate piece, split this out, and then I'll try to join these together somehow. So I think the easiest way would be to just kind of get this reasonably close and get this here reasonably close as well. I have like a weird orientation because we still have that face. So just go back to gimbal, global I mean, and then just drag this up. And we can just do a boolean here, I think, like a union of some sort, and it's all messed up, of course, because you know the geometry around here is crazy, but we can just merge these together, I think. So scale these to 0 and snap that over there, and all this crap here, let's just scale it all to 0 and just snap it there as well. And then around here we can add like an edge loop, and yeah, kind of move this across, maybe move this up a bit, and then just join these together somehow. Yeah, how should we join this together? So I might need to just be able to face around all these edges. So let's merge all the vertices there, and let's delete this face here. And one thing that's bothering me is this shading, so I'll just shade flat for now so I can see this a bit easier. And we can make a new face. yeah, this edge here is something I don't really want that there at the moment, so I'll delete that face, and we can fill this together here and fill all this together, and probably just add like a edge loop there, connect these up. You know, I'm just being like super rough at the moment. So this and this, so this is a bit of an interesting area here, so something to solve for. And since it's inside, you don't really see it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You could probably just move this across. Yeah, there we go. I think we've kind of figured it out, more or less. And this inside shape might not even make sense because, you know, we want to cut across here at some point, so yeah, so I mean, let's just cut across now and just save the time, because we'll have to do it eventually anyway, so we can, what I can do is I can do a cut through, so I can just use cut through, and let's just cut across here like this. Super messy, but you know, it's something we can fix easily. Yeah, I don't even really care about topology at this point. Yeah, it'd be nice to actually get this and just snap it back there. Like, one trick I've learned is you can take two edges. So if I merge that all together, you can take two vertices and make an edge. So you create an edge orientation, and what you can then do is, let's say we grab all these vertices and then grab something like this, make this my active, and pivot off the active. I can just scale it all to 0 like that. Scale it all to 0, and what that does is it just makes it so that these vertices are like aligned on that invisible edge, which is pretty cool. So it's just like a quick way to reorient all that sort of stuff. And with this here, I might do something similar where I just if I just kill this orientation, I might do something similar where I just grab this, and just grab all these edges in between. And then this one. And let's see, just scale this to 0. Yeah, it's not doing it. So yeah, why isn't this edge yeah, this edge is kind of weird, so let's try and make this edge again. mean, I guess that's it. So and yeah, let's just bridge this all together. So, or we can just use the F key to fill this all in. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not super happy with how this is connecting to that piece. But you know, what else can I do to fix this? I mean, we can just invent geometry around here, but I don't want to do something that's too gnarly. I'm happy with how it looks back here. I think this is okay. But it's just over here in this little section, so maybe we can just move all this inwards a bit. And just kind of rotate it a little. See if this works. Maybe we can just shove this all inwards a little bit as well. And maybe even rotate this stuff, so just do some sort of crazy rotation like this. And let's just kill all these. And we have to realign this stuff again, which is okay. That's something we can easily do. So scale to 0, scale to 0. And might just slide that along a little and do the same for this. Cool. Maybe I should have done this first. Just rotate it a little bit more like that. Yeah, something like this, that's fine. So I think this is actually, it's working a little bit better now. So after just kind of rotating this outside edge, I think we're getting to somewhere where it's working a little bit better. And I'm a bit more happy with how it looks. So let's align these vertices here. Space these out a little. And yeah, probably just freeze the scales as well, because yeah, don't want all those scales to be active there. And one thing is this area here will lose a little bit of thickness. I could probably just extrude this inwards one more time just to kind of fill out that thickness. I think in the end I'll try to fill all these little gaps out somehow, you know, either just by adding more geometry or, you know, placing something there. You know, maybe just having a piece underneath as well, just to hide all this stuff, could work. So maybe that's probably something that I'll opt to do. Maybe giving this a little bit of curvature here as well would help. So, you know, doing something like this, I think. Yeah, this little area is giving me a little bit of, issues here, but yeah, I'm really not too sure what is best. Maybe just extruding it inwards would be the easiest solve for this area here. Or we can add some additional geometry around here. Yeah, and just sort of move this stuff inwards. Yeah, something like that, probably. Maybe I can even use this skew tool to just pull all this stuff in. Cool. Yeah, I think that actually worked out. So I'm just gonna leave these as n-gons and just let the bevel just figure it out for me. But yeah, if we turn on auto smooth, I can just add a bevel modifier, give it a little bit more segments. And I want it to bevel this area here too, so I might have to just reduce the angle a bit until it figures it out. There we go. So you need to go to like 19 degrees in order to bevel that area as well. But it's beveling all these edges, which I don't want it to do. So I might have to use a different method to bevel this, or just give this a little bit more angle, like make the angle more acute here somehow. And I feel like we're missing a little bit, like some geometry down along here. So maybe just by adding that back in, I can just force that to bevel. So if I just do something like this, where we cut along the surface. just get rid of all these transforms that I've saved. Let's just snap that there, I think. And because this face is kind of being bent like this, we're gonna get some issues here. So yeah, I think need to do some smart solving in this area. Maybe just pulling this out a little so it just doesn't bend that face as much. Cool, and yeah, it's added the bevels there for me, so perfect. For something like this, I'll definitely need to subdivide it because there's just not enough like topology going around. And you can see when I subdivide that it's giving me issues there. So one thing I usually do is just triangulate it before subdividing and hope that that fixes it. And it doesn't really, so you know, I might have to come in here and just whoops. Might have to come in here and just yeah, figure out. It looks like there's overlapping faces potentially. No. Yeah, I mean it's just this topology here, isn't it? So yeah, so for this one I might actually have to like properly subdivide this area because yeah, it just doesn't like it. With the beveling, maybe the bevel's just too gnarly around here. There's also a profile. Let's see if changing the profile helps. And then that just explodes it. Yeah, so it's a little bit less predictable, this particular bevel, for whatever reason. Yeah, I might just have to do this the old school way, which sucks because I know like once I add like an edge loop here to try to contain it, it's gonna mess up the flow of this whole thing, but we'll see if we can just do something like this. Yeah, I mean this seems to work better, so I might have to do something a little bit more extreme like this. You know, I think in hindsight I should have just made this cylinder with way more like topology going around, you know, because we're getting like these weird warping and stuff like that. But I think that's just, you know, that's just what we have to deal with. Poor planning on my part. Yeah, I mean this piece, I think there's still a little bit of work to be done in terms of like how I want it to look. but I might save that for the next stream. You know, there's so many pieces here that I still need to refine. So you come back to here. This one has like those little what do you call it? These little rivets, which I'm not sure if I'll do as geometry or if I'll do as texture. I'll probably try to texture it just to do as much in texturing as I can. And for whatever reason, I lost the tops of these, so looks like they're in a different collection. They're in this like reusable collection. But yeah, I think the stream's gone long enough because it's already an hour. So I'll probably cap it off here and try to finish this guy off. I still need to retopper all this crap. You know, maybe as a closing thing, I'll just quickly retopper this piece. And see how that goes. So I'll duplicate this piece, move the duplicate to a new collection, and just call this collection retoppo. And we'll just show this retopper collection. And the first thing I'll do is turn off my selection on this bottom piece, so I don't accidentally select it, and turn on my face selection, project individual elements. And what else? We have back face culling on. Might just turn this cavity off. And yeah, I think we can make a new piece. So I'll just start off with a single vert and just snap this. Yep. Just make sure I snap this to the surface. Hard to see this one tiny single vert, but it is there by the looks of it. And I might even just turn on snapping for good, so whenever I move things around, it just stays snapped. There we go. Now I can see them. I had edge view on, so yeah, let's fill all this in, and this area is going to be a little bit interesting. I think I should just add one more here. That'll work a little bit better. So and one last thing is I need to make this show on top. So if we get an object selection, the visibility here, viewport display in front, and that should make it so that it's in front. And I also feel like this is flipped the wrong way around. So if I grab this and just flip this back so it's the other direction, I can see it better. And I think the last thing I want to do is just give it a shader. So make this, come down to viewport display, and just make this sort of like something like that. And I'll probably even just turn on wireframe. Turn on wireframe here in the viewport display. Okay, so yeah, this is much easier to see what's going on, and then I can just kind of do this. I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of just the native tools to retopo stuff inside of Blender. I think just like the default retopo in Maya is better. Just the experience of not having to set things up so much, but like the quad draw on the live mesh, it just feels a little bit more natural to me. But I know retopo flow in Blender is really good, so that's probably something I'll look into at some point. Cool. And yeah, there's no point like retopoing the other side, so we just use a mirror modifier. Yeah, I think this will do for now. And what I can do is just grab, let's just mirror it, this thing. So duplicate, and let's mirror this in the x-axis. Flip this around, and we can just join these together. So I'll turn off snapping now, zero that out, or maybe we add some thickness between these two, so we do a bridge instead. And yeah, there we go, there's the mesh. I could probably just take this out into the other collection now. So if we move this, so I'll link this. No. What is it? Alt M? No, Shift. So I'll link this to our regular collection, and I'll probably delete this underlying face. Delete. And I can just delete that entire collection. Not exactly sure how to unlink it from the scene itself, but yeah, I'll have to figure that out later. But how do I unlink it from the scene collection? I'm sure it's not a big deal anyway. But yeah, let's get rid of the shader now because it's no longer needed. So we can just unassign that shader, and we can just extrude the entire mesh so it has some thickness. Flip the normals, and I might be able to just hide that original mesh that we had. So also should turn off in front and also wireframe, and then we should hide, just hide this original mesh, or put it in a new collection. So, and just deactivate that collection. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it for this stream. You know, thanks for watching, and you know, I'm surprised by the end of this poll. There's only been 4 votes, but it looks like Maya is the winner so far. I think that's a bias because you know, a lot of people who you know, get shown our videos are probably just Maya users, so a little bit of bias there. I honestly don't have a preference between the two. I haven't used Blender long enough to really make a judgment about it, but when I do, I'm sure to have my own opinion at that point. But yeah, I think for now, it's neutral is my vote. Oh, actually 5 votes for Maya. So yeah, looks like, I mean 4 votes for Maya to 1 vote for Blender. So that one Blender guy, sorry to you. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. Catch you guys in the next